torque wrench and torqued every single bolt in my bike to spec. And disassembled my power meter and put it back together to spec. And then I've gone through 2 weeks of PT, and I went from having a threshold of 260 to having somewhere around 330. I don't understand if that was my legs that are working better or if it's the power meter.
So going by perceived exertion, which is like hugely important for every one of us, could you tell? I mean, you must have some outer external stimuli that can tell you if that was.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I'm really not sure. Like, I was outside riding in the wind, and I think a commute that would have normally taken me about a half hour on my racing road bike took me about 28 on my commuter. So that's with extra load with a bike that's probably less mechanically efficient. And I don't know, like, with a busted knee, so.
Yeah, so you're injured, and this is coming back from physical therapy.
Yeah.
Like, what'd you say, 3 weeks?
It was 2 weeks.
2 weeks,
or it's
2.5
weeks now.
Yeah, 3 weeks now. So that's really amazing. So just go with it. So the moral of the story is try to go by feel. This is everything, the kind of the whole self-awareness thing that I'm trying to coach all of you on, and go by feel. And then you can tell if it's, you don't have to look at the gizmo necessarily. But that's great news either way, that you're pain-free, most importantly.
Yes.
And so shortly, I think Melody will be going through the rehabilitation, or you already have been, but maybe not properly.
I've only been doing it for 19 months properly. Oh, sorry, that's actually 17. I got injured 19 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us how you're doing. I'm sorry, are you done? I didn't want to cut you off.
I just can't run, that's all.
I am having a little bit of a rough time. I scheduled the biggest final of them all for May 9th. And I have a lot to do before then.
That's the defense?
Yeah. Had a very stressful meeting with my advisor today, and am like regressing on terms of my body working.
Okay, so we'll take it one step at a time. Actually, the whole time while everyone's here, I want to you guys to just practice the deep breathing, and I'll just go over it very, very quickly. I mean, I think some of you are familiar with it, but it's really, focusing on when you put one of your hands or fingers a couple fingers on your stomach, one on your chest, and when you breathe in, you'll feel your stomach go out. You shouldn't feel your chest really move much, because it's going through the diaphragm. The diaphragm's going down and pushing down and expanding. Your lungs are expanding. So try to do the breath in through the nose if you don't have a cold, and then hold it a little bit at the top, and then when you breathe out, big exhale. I think I taught both you and Andrea this, the straw breath, kind of a sighing breath, and that kind of helps you exhale all of the air. And the idea is practice doing this 30 to 40 breaths a day if you can. It doesn't have to be all at one time, but it's over time you can do this, and you will really learn to relax almost instantly. And I think this is really good also just for grounding yourself. Anytime you have like a stressful meeting you're going to go to, I highly encourage you doing like 5 of these. And you focus on the breath, focus on the in-breath, the air going in, the air coming out, the passage of the air. And that's just brings you to the moment, because I know we all have a million things running around in our minds, and I think it's just good in general. So while I'm blabbing away, we definitely keep doing that throughout. And then I was going to today, overview is do a little brief recap on some things that we've covered. Performance cues, the reframing, which I did a poor job last time we met. I don't think any of you actually were here, luckily, last time that I had met, because it was actually a smaller group than this, maybe one less person, and I was like a little bit taken aback. How am I want to do all these group exercises? So we're gonna kind of do some small group stuff. I want to then go into describing the power of self-confidence and doing the most with what you have in terms of confidence and not questioning your confidence, because I think that's going to be crucial, whether or not you're doing conference championships or your goal is nationals or not, or it's rehabbing from injury. Confidence is going to be huge. And then the thing that I haven't, I'll go and talk to you, Andrea and Melody, later on will be kind of the imagery scripts we can try to work on for injury, more injury recovery. I think that's something I haven't really done a ton of. And hopefully you're out of the woods and you're healthy, right? I think, so that's good. But first of all, have any of you had a chance to use cues in training? And if so, I want to kind of hear about your experiences with them, because I know you have. So can I start with you?
Sure. I mean,
Hey, John. How are you?
Just going to say hi.
Yeah.
Go to
Oh, hey, thanks. Good luck with your stuff.
my parents are here.
Okay, appreciate it. You can invite him in too.
See ya.
Yeah.
so, I mean, we've talked about what my cues are before. I can't honestly say I've been doing great practice of them because I haven't really been doing great practice the past couple weeks for various reasons. But
But tell me how they were important to you and kind of what they mean to you.
oh, well, I ended up with a new one. That's
Okay.
the story I was going to tell, which is, I guess it was last Friday. Melody, Kate, Cecilia, and I went on a fun ride to work on descending on our bikes, something I'm incredibly uncomfortable with. And we went to Los Altos Hills, and Bruce gave us our, long list of 5 things that we need to focus on, and we practiced first on a pretty chill hill, but it still felt like something, and then we went up I don't know, but Elena to the top,
Yeah.
and worked on that a couple times.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So I think I was literally saying aloud to myself as I went through the turns. Now, okay, my brain is not working right now. Wide and through was my new cue that I got, and I was literally saying it out loud to myself while I was going down this hill. And
And that.
and I got it, and it was fun because we did Elena a couple times, and then we, on the way back, we ended up going down the first hill that we
Yeah.
had practiced on the first time, and it was a joke in comparison, right? Like, we pedaled through the whole thing. That was the first time we did it. We were like, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
And so why did through mean to you?
So that's remembering to get wide so you can cut a straight line, and
Straight
then
forward.
through is looking through.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
That's great. And then kind of what did that help you emotionally and like feeling wise? Because that's kind of
again,
crucial
just
too.
having some kind of mantra helped me not panic, because that's the key thing. Is I panic going down hills, and that's literally the worst thing you can do, because then you grab your brakes at the wrong time, and then you're more likely to crash.
Yeah.
And so just
So it also
again, it was just soothing to have that thing to repeat to myself that was also instructional.
excellent. Do you think it helped you? I'm supposed to ask an open-ended question, but it won't be.
Yeah.
Do you think it
Leading
helps
question.
helps you not think about outcomes, or does it keep you more?
Yeah, it's again being in the moment.
being in the moment, yeah.
Just focusing on that one thing that I can see ahead of me.
Yeah, so that's great. So that's all. A cue means all those things to you. So that's kind of like an example of that's what a cue should do, if possible. And this can be descending. It can actually be when you're doing PT, and you're trying to get through it. It can also be you're trying to get through an interval. Your cue could be, let's say it's a 15-minute interval, and you're only like 5 minutes. Well, you could then reframe and say, well, I actually have only 10 minutes left. Or, you can, there's different ways you can say, well, I'm already 5 minutes through, it's not going to be that bad. So all those things you can do. And Melody, did you have anything that it doesn't have to be with the triathlon, but that would be preferable, or something that you've been doing with cues?
I mean, I guess like more when you think about swimming, just like if it's a lot of repetitions, I just take them one at a time. So that's always like what my coaches said, because like they're always like, just try hard on the first one, because if you miss the first one, you're gonna miss all the rest of them. So just like think of it just like if it's 8 100s, just be like, oh, it's 1 100, and you just do them one at a time, and then you're like, oh, I'm already halfway. Like, I don't know. I just think it's easier to do it that way instead of, because a lot of times like workouts can seem really daunting. So if you're just like, oh, it's just one, or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So that's an example of reframing, in that you're taking it and dicing it up into smaller parts. It's kind of like how you do work. Same things. You just, and then with your, let's see, is there anything you can tell me? Because I know you're struggling with your ankle issue that's helped you kind of get through it. Because I noticed that besides having a little bit less stress last time we'd met, you just seemed a little more grounded. And I don't know if it was because of the acceptance of the injury, it's interesting. I didn't realize that really when you have an injury, it's like going through the stages of grief. It's like your denial, then you're like pissed, angry, and then it's like acceptance, and then there's like, okay, what do I need to do to get the shit, over with and behind me?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's just for me that, I'm trying to say this in a positive way. I guess I was like, oh, it'll get better, and then it didn't, and then I was like, okay, it's not getting better, and I just need to like stop trying to force it to get better, because things don't always get better.
Well, on the time scale that you want to.
Thinking
Yeah.
positive, well, I mean, it was supposed to be 4 to 6 weeks, and it's been 4 months.
Right.
So, and that's like still what the doctors say, so it's like a little bit confusing, because like I saw them and they're like, yeah, you'll be better in 4 to 6 weeks, and I'm like, but you said that 4 months ago.
But did you do hard rest 4 to 6 weeks 4 months ago?
I didn't run for 6 weeks.
Yeah. So this comes down to a little bit of a tangent of
Yeah.
how do you read your body when you're like still figuring it out?
Yeah.
That's like
I think that's the hard thing for me, is because I feel like there's a difference between like pain and being aware that something feels different.
Yes.
And
Oh, that's good. That's a
I
good point.
was not told that I was told if it doesn't hurt, you can do it.
Yeah.
That was wrong.
Yeah. If it feels weird.
If it feels weird, you shouldn't do it. I just didn't figure that out for 4 months.
Yeah, so that's interesting, because I wonder if that part of it's like your perception of pain, because what for you, what does that mean? So much of it's like, what does that mean to you?
I guess it's like, I think it's very like much being in touch with your body and knowing what you feel like normally, and then it's also like comparing like your right foot to your left foot, and I don't know. I feel like, do you understand?
I
You
understand.
It's
I have
awareness. It's
no.
awareness.
I have a
It's like,
level
it
of
doesn't
awareness.
hurt.
There's
It doesn't
awareness,
hurt.
and then
It's
there's
just
the
not
pain
normal.
scale. Exactly.
And so I think like that was the hard thing, is because I would go through periods and I'm like, oh, it's getting better, but then apparently with tendinitis, if it doesn't feel normal, you're hurting it if you're training on it.
Yeah.
And it also might just be like, maybe I have a high pain tolerance. I don't know.
Yeah, I think all that factors in, plus the type of tendonitis you have in the region you have, any kind of motion that is weight bearing probably aggravated it potentially. So
that's the problem, is originally they thought I had it in one tendon, and now it's in 2.
in 2.
That's fun.
Well, here's the flip side is you're gonna have to rest the one tendon. You're gonna have to rest both. There's no way you can just do one, probably.
Yeah.
So it's same difference.
So,
And
I mean, over spring break, my plan is to not move. I'm just gonna like stay in my bed.
yeah, so encouraging reframe is, again, look at all the things you can do. You can stay in bed.
Maybe
You
I'll
might
like
not have
read a
to do-
book. I never read.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
During the semester when you have that between
Yeah.
school and training.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had you practicing some more breathing stuff, but that's gonna get you boring pretty soon, pretty quickly.
I'll just fall asleep if I'm in bed.
Well, hopefully you'll catch up on sleep. Okay, we're going to go more quickly so I can get to the main topics. Anything that you have to share cue-wise that maybe you, or reframing, anything you reframed? Because it's something I haven't done well with pushing